Hello everyone, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Wi-Fi Sheep live here on YouTube. My name is Tom. Thank you very much for joining us for this special live and slightly experimental broadcast in the height of the coronavirus outbreak. I just thought it might be a good opportunity for some of us who are very much housebound or isolated at the moment to have a bit of a get together and maybe have a look at some old games, old tech, that kind of thing. Today we're doing a BBC Micro 8-bit game along, and what that means is that I picked two BBC Micro vintage games, one from 2017 and the others from 1989, and I'm going to attempt to play them live in real time. Hence we cut over to our split screen area. You can see I have a BBC Micro environment running. Now I was hoping to actually have real proper hardware because I've got enough of it lying around in the room here. But alas, I have had problems getting the RGB and composite signals to work with capture cards, especially in a live stream environment, which is extremely annoying. So I'm using an emulator. The emulator you're seeing is BBit for RISC OS, and it comes standard with the RISC OS Direct operating system. So if you want to try and run this on a Raspberry Pi, you can do so. All the links you need are in the description of this video, by the way. But I thought as something a bit different, I've also included the links to the games themselves, and these are on BBC, I think it's bbc.co.uk. bbcmicro.co.uk, I beg your pardon. Yes. Basically, if we show you the web browser, and you can do this from any modern web browser. You've got the games. So the first game we'll be looking at is White Light. And if you're running a modernish web browser on Mac, Windows, Linux, you can actually hit play and you can play the game in the web browser. So what I'm hoping to do is that many of you will join me in playing along, and we'll have a bit of a high scores competition, just a bit of friendly competition, so no prizes or anything at the end, just to see who can get the furthest, who can get the highest scores. So the options are there if you want to play in browser. I have no idea how well this works on phone or Android or things like that. It might work, it may not, no idea. So that will be the first game that we'll play today. Before that, I just want to show you something from our partners at PCBWay.com. And this is an offer, a very kind offer from PCBWay.com back to the PCBWayers community. That's existing customers and new customers. And it's new, as you can see on screen, gift, I think it's either vouchers or coupons. And there's gifts for new members and also existing customers and members. And that can be spent on PCB orders and designs. It can also probably be spent in the shop as well. There's also some fantastic information on the site about what the company's been doing in relation to the COVID-19 outbreak. As you know, this all started in China, so it affected Chinese firms like PCBWay before it affected us here in Europe. They're now back out the other end of it, which is really great, actually. And a little bit of information about what it is they've actually been doing to help out with the crisis, and also as a company to actually support the maker community, or the PCBWayers as they call it. It's not just a firm that makes PCBs and circuit boards. They actually do have a whole community, and there's a whole online shop and e-commerce system that runs from the PCBWay.com website. So if you haven't looked at it already, it's well worth a look. Links again are in the description to this video or live stream. And while I'm talking about PCBWay, I'll just show you this that came in the post. This is my order of custom PCBs that I've done for a new and upcoming project with, there you go, hold it up to the camera, new and upcoming project for Wi-Fi Sheep. Believe it or not, these were ordered during the height of the coronavirus crisis, and they got here in really good time. So they've got from China to here in the UK in probably just under a week, which is amazing. I've not opened them yet because I'm doing an unboxing video, and we'll hopefully get on with that project at a later date. Obviously, I've been a little bit delayed because of the corona outbreak now here in the UK. So I was meant to be working with Rob Coleman. Many of you remember him, a good friend of the channel. Designed the video NULA graphics card for the BBC Micro, and myself and Rob were going to collaborate on a project. But we've had to sort of postpone that, unfortunately. Okay then, so let's go back into the gaming. Again, if you want to join me, it's go to bbcmicro.co.uk. I've actually dropped all the links into the description of this video, but you can search for White Light. This will be the first game. So this came out in 2017, and it actually came out as a physical release, believe it or not. Yeah, and I actually bought it. You might remember the video. I bought it. It came in a folder, original disc. I think it was really quite cool. They've now released it for free, so if you want to play along, it's here on the website. I've got Bbit loaded. Now, Bbit has been okay with emulating most things, but this has been a bit tricky. White Light really does push the boundaries, and for those of you that don't know, it's very rare that an emulator is an exact 100% clone copy of real hardware. It's probably sort of 99% compatible. And Bbit is a good example. So White Light does things or requests things of the virtual hardware that Bbit doesn't quite understand. So the sound can be a bit wonky and sometimes it needs a reset. I think it's all right on the online emulators. If you're playing in web browser with the JavaScript JSB emulator, which is what that uses, I think that's a lot better than this. But, you know, swings and roundabouts and we'll get there. Before we start, we'll just say a quick hi on the chat to Matt Myers. Hi Tom, looks like the whole world is housebound. Yep. Outside of home, yes. Yes, I'm fully aware about my audio lag being behind. I think that's more to do with the camera, in all honesty. Let's have a quick check before we get going. Just bear with me a moment. I do have quite a decent connection on here, to be honest with you, but I think a lot of people are actually all online at the moment, you know, streaming Netflix or watching me on here, for example, and the bandwidth is a little bit tied up, so I think that's probably what's happening there. Not like I do about the sound. I appreciate the video feed you're getting of me is probably in front or behind the sound. I think the sound's probably in front of the video. That's to do with this camera, which is not wonderful. But Matt, thanks very much for letting me know about that. Yeah, so we're YouTube's having a bit of a moan at me now about lagging. So anyway, we'll carry on and see if that sorts itself out. Solves it probably won't, but yeah. Okay, so let's get on. So I've got, should have White Light loaded up. Let's just have a look. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Not to worry. What we'll do is we'll just reload. So let's just minimize. And what you can do is if you've got the disk images, White Light disk images like this one here, for example, we can click, drag, drop, shift, break, should now load us back in. I said this one it's a great game, but this one has been a little bit funny. Oh, cheers for that, Matt. Matt's just reported that it's better now. Okay, yeah, I've done a little tweak this end, which hopefully is slightly fixed things. But cheers, thanks for the heads up on that. Okay, now I warn you, the audio is on my version a little bit broken, but let's see if this is going to work even. Yeah. Let's do that again. Hang on. Technology for you. Some emulators fine with this, and others are just a little bit cranky, I think is to say the least. What I really need to do is play this on original hardware, which is what I want to do, and I have got a new graphics capture, video capture card, sorry, on the way that I'm hoping might sort the issue out. Oh, that's looking better. Okay, so this is White Light. So if you do want to play along, please do. The links for White Light and how to play it, or where to get it from, to play rather, are in the description to this video, as already mentioned. Okay, let's go for it. So you'll probably hear the music is a little bit off. And it's a sort of modern port of Firetrack, for those of you who know your BBC Micro games. It's always been quite an impressive game, considering the limitations of the hardware, really, because you've got 2 MHz 6502 and 32K of RAM on a stock machine, and this doesn't require anything other than the stock hardware. So hi John, thanks for joining us. Yes, it does run really well off the stock MMCs. It does on mine. It's as I was mentioning, I just haven't got a decent way of getting a good live video feed off an original BBC Micro at the minute. It's extremely annoying because I've got all this kit and it just won't talk to itself. But yeah, you don't have to run this off floppy. You can run this off modern MMCs or even USB devices that you can get now for the BBC Micro. I also think my emulator is particularly, this might be running a little bit slow. I think it's actually faster, ironically, on original hardware. So you couldn't use this for any sort of competitive gaming because you'd have an unfair advantage if it's running just that little bit slow. Possibly, I don't know. Yeah, how does it actually run on BBEM? I think the version of BBEM oops, I got distracted. The version of BBEM I've got, which is BBEM 4 is the last one for the Mac. And the Mac development of BBEM is behind the Windows build. I think the original Unix Linux build seems even more behind, but it was one of those originally when it came out a few years ago. I said, look, this game just doesn't work on emulators. You need the original hardware. But obviously now the emulators have had some updates. The emulator I'm using is bbit on RISC OS on a Raspberry Pi 2. Which is, if you download RISC OS Direct, it has BBEM and all the ROMs fully installed. So yeah, this is actually running off a Raspberry Pi at the moment, but I really wanted to run it off original hardware, really, but push came to shove and I decided it was probably more important to get the live stream out. Yeah, than it was to sort of get the original hardware. But I'm hoping, if we carry on with these live streams, I will be able to stream off original hardware. It's ironic because there's blooming, BBC Micro right there behind me, and it's like I can't get things connected properly at the minute. It's very, very annoying. What's John saying? Now, I can imagine feeding video out of the beat. Yeah, it is. It's an absolute pain. I did a video which went live at midnight for the Retro Fair 2020, which was an event that got cancelled. And let's just turn that down a bit. There we go. Actually, if you listen to the audio on this quickly, you can see something's not right. Just listen to the audio on this. It's like, yeah, that doesn't do that on original hardware. But yeah. Where was I? Yes, so I had to do a video for, well, I didn't have to. I offered to do a video for a museum, a Seattle Computing Museum, I think it was. and they're going to have a retro fair event, and it got cancelled. So a call went out for anyone to actually offer to do an online exhibit, to sort of have an online show. So I said, oh, that sounds like fun. So I did that, and I showed a Model B, because of course they're not that common in the States. And I wanted to get the capture. I had it all set up, and I've got a RGB to HDMI capture box, or converter box rather, so I could get a beautiful HD picture on HDMI. And capture card was just having none of it. And I tried it on Mac, and then I went over and tried it on Windows 10, updated all the firmware and drivers. I got like a picture that was just scrolling. It wouldn't screen lock, and it didn't matter what I changed, hertz rates, frequency rates, color rates, broadcast modes, you name it, it just was having none of it. So in the end, I had to capture the black and white via the BNC composite out, which meant I had a slightly distorted black and white picture, which is what went into the video. But I didn't want to do that in this stream today, so I thought we'll try the emulators, see how it goes. Yeah, so do we try that again without it locking up? Oh, it's now crashed. Oh dear. Knew it wasn't going to behave itself. It just about runs, but it just shows you how much this is pushing the game. Let's just have a quick look at chat again. So yeah, Matt, BBEM for Windows runs great. You need to get a PC. Yeah. Do you know what the annoying thing is, right? I do actually, I've got PCs here. They're just all a bit old. So I have actually been contemplating, do I actually need to go and buy myself like a Windows 10 laptop or something? It's getting to that point, in all honesty. Possibly. We'll see. But yeah. Development on the Mac does seem to be a bit limited in areas, and there's also tools and things, especially with the Visa Microcredit, you can only get for Windows. A lot of the MMC filer systems and DFS filers, you can't get tools for the Mac. If you do, they're all like sort of pay only. So yeah, I probably do need to do that at some point, but you know, we'll see. And John, yeah, watch your retro fair video in black and white. Yeah, I know. As I said, not ideal, but it kind of, you know, was what it was. So I thought, let's just get that out, because I had a kind of, it was an old kind of short notice. You may have got the sense that it was a bit rushed. Also, the rules about it has to be 5 minutes, and I did about half an hour of content. I was like, so I've had to like really compress it down. So there's just so much I wanted to talk about, and no, I just couldn't fit it all in. But hopefully people enjoyed the video. Right, let's go again. I'll just turn my sound back up. Ooh. So, how is everyone doing anyway? The whole isolate. I appreciate what Matt said. You weren't isolating at the moment. I'm officially, we're sort of told not to go out, although we're not forced to stay in, if you know what I mean. But there's, other than shopping, there's no point going out. And in my case, we've got quite elderly neighbours next door, so it's kind of looking after and just watching over everybody, but at the same time keeping your distance, because last thing you want to do is make an old person ill. So, you know. But other than that, things are okay. It's just really, really quiet, which I think for me isn't a problem, because I mean, I'm self-employed, and the bulk of what I do is media-based stuff, a bit like Wi-Fi Sheep and other things for other countries. So I was more affected by the China shutdown when I was what's happening at the moment. So that's just my scenario, but I think the thing to say is not to panic, if you know what I mean. There's no need to panic, and it's just, you know, we'll have to hold out. It could be in this for the long run, but I thought, you know, give an opportunity for anyone who wants to come and have a chat on here about anything, and, you know, we'll just talk tech. we can't physically meet each other, and all the retro shows have all been cancelled this year from the looks of it. So next best thing. Oh, Matt's just leaving us, so yeah. Cheers, Matt. Thanks for stopping by. Do realise how difficult it is to actually play this and then sort of turn your head to look at what's in the live chat. But... Oh, Matt said, yeah, you're isolating when you're not at work. Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of like my fiancée Anna. She's a store manager for a firm called Savers. It's a bit like a chemist type thing. You can imagine any store that sells disinfectants, hand sanitizer, toilet roll, you know, absolutely inundated. So she's the manager of one of the branch stores, so she's been really inundated. But, yeah, so it's those sort of workers. I don't want to say she's on the front line because she's not absolutely essential working staff, but at the same time, you know, the demand on her stores has increased massively in the past few weeks. So she comes back and she's pretty tired when she's back. But, I'm going to get past level 1 at some point. No worries, Matt. Cheers. Not been to a retro show yet. Are you missing out? Some are very, very good. Some are very good. But thanks for stopping by, Matt. Much appreciated. Right, anyone else playing yet? Got a score you want to report? If you want to drop any scores on the chat line, I'll try and keep a rough tally just to see where we're at. Don't know why I've got write protection on for some reason. So let's just check that. So if it's got Model B open here. Let's just go to, that's the drive. And if we click writable, set. Actually, it's the thing you need to remember is save as well, then set. Okay. Obviously different emulators. Okay, now I can't shoot anything. Oh no. Yeah, this was, you know, one of those things where you test something and it's perfectly fine, and then when you come to actually start live streaming, this happened to me a few weeks ago when we were doing the RISC Direct launch, and I was live streaming here on the channel from the Southwest show in Bristol, probably one of the last retro shows, computer shows that's going to happen this year, probably in the UK. Anyway, I was doing a live demonstration and it was quite simple, just doing some BBC Basic, again with RISC Direct had just launched, and the damn thing crashed on like a basic loop. It was for like 10 print something, 20 go to 10, you know, the very simple, you know, schoolboy basic from the 80s, and the whole thing locked up live on a stream. It was extremely embarrassing. I now know what it is. It's a slight little glitch in the Pi side of the config file, which I've had a chat with the engineers and we'll be fixing. It's a very easy fix. We'll get that sorted out. But no one else has had the problem at the moment, so it's just me. But it's nice when you're aware of what the issues are when they happen, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's always when you're live things start messing up. But I will now. I'm gonna just have to concentrate now. I want to get to level 2. When I started playing this, it was off my original Model B, and you know, I think I got like to level 3 or something. I don't think I've ever got any further, but I've not spent an awful lot of time playing this, if you know what I mean. So. Hopefully you can actually hear me alright and the background music isn't too loud. It's also rather hard to gauge levels, especially when you start adjusting them on the fly. Yes, did I get it? I think I got it. Of course, the more one-ups and pick-ups you get, the better the gun, and the more stuff you can destroy, and the easier the game comes. So you can actually start standing your ground a little bit more. To be fair, Sarah Wheeler did it. Is it Sarah Wheeler? I think it was. He did this. Very, very good job. The graphics on this, considering the limitations of the Mode 2 TTL colour palette, we just have 8 colours including black and white. And Mode 2 is one of the lowest resolutions for the Beast Micro, so it's a fantastic visual job done. Especially with a computer that doesn't have a sprite engine. This is what you call a boss fight. The only thing I do find is when it stops scrolling, you've still kind of got this sort of motion sickness almost. You feel that the picture's rolling when it isn't. I don't know if that's just me. Sort of thing you get on trains sometimes where you kind of still feel the things are moving even if they're not. Ah, damn. Wrong button. Hey, we're there. We're there. I got through. Hey, not useless. Level 1 complete. There we are. Yeah, that audio is definitely off. Ah, you're kidding me. Well, we were doing so well. I can't see what I'm doing now. Damn it. Oh, damn it. I'm going to have to rethink how that works because this emulator clearly not up to the job. But let's have a look at the second game, which some of you might prefer actually. This is RollerRally. Again, the link for this is in the description if you want to play along online. And to load up, we go click, drag and drop, shift, and then the break key, by the way, on a modern keyboard is sometimes labelled as pause. So it's shift pause as opposed to shift break. Now, this from 1989 has a very, very different feel to it. This one does run quite well. So I also like the way that it draws the player map, which is done using text characters. So it's actually just scrolling. It's actually very, very clever. Okay, so basically it's kind of like a bit like one of those marble run type things. And the idea is that we need to get basically to the other side of the map in the quickest time possible. That's the challenge here, is to do it in the quickest time possible. You're not timed, you won't run out of time. Oh, damn. Without rolling off the edges. The one thing I will say that's a little bit frustrating with this is it has to slowly redraw the game map every time, which can take a moment to. Yes, we press start. Come on. Can take its moment to redraw, but well worth a look. This one does run very well in all the emulators and probably plays online very nicely as well. So. We might be able to go and find a third game to play at this rate. Anyone got any suggestions for any BBC Micro titles that you'd like to maybe play? Then definitely drop me a line, tell me about that. We can see if we can go and grab the files live. And I'll see if I can drop links to them in the chat. Right, let's try again. best if we had stuff that would actually run on an unmodded Model B, I think. Because I know there are some stuff that, like Stunt Racer, that's been ported recently from the Commodore 64. But the only snag of it is that you need a master and you need all the sideways RAM setting up. So it can be a bit problematic on the emulators. I think you can play it in browser though. Come on. Okay. So what I can do here is pick up enough momentum. There you go. And we can actually just drop straight over. Ooh. Okay. There we go. And then it draws the next level in below. So I quite like that. It's slow, admittedly, but it's quite effective the way it works. Oh! I'm live, do not swear. Yeah. Yeah. Incidentally, if anyone has any other questions while I'm here and live, if anyone wants to ask me anything else about any of the other Wi-Fi shoot videos, content or projects, then please do feel free to. I'm quite happy to talk about other things that are going on in the world of tech and vintage. I refuse to believe someone managed this in 150 seconds. It's one of those games, it's such a simple concept, but it's infuriatingly addictive. This is infuriating, the screen loading. I wish that routine was a bit quicker. Okay. And then it's about picking up momentum to actually just come on. Oh, nearly. Come on. We're doing this before. No! Oh, falling in the black hole. You don't say. Avoid falling in the black hole. Yes, I know. Yeah. So I do actually like this though as a concept. It is really, really nice. It's kind of, it's simple, not very noisy at the same time, which is sometimes what you want. So hey, oh, John. Ah, this is getting comic, isn't it? Tell you what, let's have. Trying to think now. I think we need to probably find something else. Maybe a third game for today. If anyone has any suggestions, throw them in now. So with one, bbcmicro.co.uk, not bbc.co.uk. Easy mistake to make. Actually quite nice because you've got the different games here. So you have unreleased, commercial releases, unreleased games. Okay. Oh, it has loaded. I missed that. Okay, and so we do have things like Stunt Car Racer, which won't work on this emulator. I don't actually know how well. Don't think the play function will actually work in there. NetSurf, but we'll give it a go. This, by the way, is NetSurf browser for RISC, which I think was a little bit optimistic to think that was going to work. You do need a HTML5 WebKit enabled web browser for this to work, by the way, which unfortunately NetSurf isn't. The other browser on the system here on RISC Direct, Otter browser, is WebKit enabled, so that might work, but you do need a Raspberry Pi 3 or 3 Plus or later to get that to run, because it needs a bit of grunt. So the Pi 2 is sort of minimum it'll actually work on. Anyway, what we're doing. Oh, actually, I know what was a good one I did download. Just minimise that. I do actually have an additional games folder. This was a relatively new build of Tetris, which was interesting. So let's just shift break to reset. So this was done, what year is this? Recently. Past 2-3 years. Let's just check what the keys are for that. Oh, we can actually define the keys. So left, right, rotate, drop. Looks like to be done in a mode 1. Oh. The only thing to watch for this is when you do the drops, it does actually drop the whole thing down into the one go. So it's not like other versions of Tetris where if you just tap the key you can sort of drop it down the board. At least that's how I remember versions of Tetris working, but maybe that's not true to the original. I quite like the use of sort of dithering and patterns to make the different coloured blocks distinguishable, because of course you've only got 4 colours, and that will include the black background in this sort of medium resolution screen mode. So that in itself is quite impressive. Where are we? What I'll do is I'll just see how far I get, and I'll drop the link to this into the chat. So if you want to play along with this, you can do. If you want to play any other games, of course you can. Just keep reporting the scores back, and I will endeavour to try White Light again shortly. So I'm a glutton for punishment and multiple failure from the looks of it. So. Oh, where's that going to go? Damn it. Damn it. Right. No. Oh, there you go. You can do the whole thing of sliding blocks in underneath. Oh, finally. Also, it doesn't tell you kind of what piece is coming up like some of them do, so you don't actually know how much, if you like, you can't tactically plan things. Hang on. But I must admit, this does play really, really nice, even if it is a bit on the quiet side. You just hear me in the keyboard, which on a modern keyboard I guess is probably more, oh, that came down fast, more annoying than had it been an original BBC Micro mechanical keyboard. And anyone who owns original hardware will know how noisy those boards were. Oh, damn. Need to do that. Oh. I think I'm about to lose this. It's more or less in how not to play Tetris, but it is actually a really nice port. Oh no! Oh no! I think we're done. I think we're done. I think no, we're done. Too many mistakes, and it just builds up and eventually gets on top of you. So let me just very quickly find out where that link for that is. Just bear with me a moment. Best laid plans and all that. Let's just go down to unreleased. And I'll pop the link in the chat for that. There we go. So yeah, the Tetris version was also 2017. There we go. I've gone. For some reason, I was looking at another chat stream. Don't know what I was doing there. Never mind. Right. So I'll just bonk that. That's in the chat for anyone who wants it. So that's, again, it's from bbcmicro.co.uk. And let's go back to where we were at. So I'm going to have another go round. So if you want to... Oh, that goes fast, doesn't it? So if you want to play along, you can. The link to this is in the chat. You can play this in browser if you want. There we go. It's very quiet though. It could do with, I don't know necessarily music, but just sort of a little bit of a subtle sound perhaps. Some, I don't know, bleeps when blocks fall or move or something. Something like that I think would help it along. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong key and that happens. Oh dear. Right. mentioned this already, but I do like the way the blocks are coloured and dithered. That's actually really clever how that works. You have to remember the BBC Micro does not have a sprite engine, so it's even more impressive when you see this sort of thing be achieved. Not sure about the colour palette choice. It's a bit unusual to say the least, but on the other hand, it works. It could have been a worse choice. Could have been the CGA stock palette, which for those of you that know PC will know how awful that was. Now I'm a line out. Didn't mean to do that. I think it's when you make mistakes that you then can't come back from. I think I've messed this up, people. No. Oh, hello. That goes in there. Yes. No. There's probably nothing more frustrating than watching a live stream of someone play Tetris badly. I can completely sympathise with you. You in there? Oh, I think we've messed this up. Don't mean to be over dramatic, but yeah. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, I think we've slightly messed that up, but never mind. So yeah, if you want to play along, you can play along with any of these games in web browser. If we go back to the site in question, which is www.bbcmicro.co.uk, and it has loads of games, different categories here, and you can then click what you want and play in browsers. There's quite a few new titles in the past sort of 5-6 years that won't have had any general releases. Sugar Smash. Oh, is that like a sort of Candy Crush type clone? Possibly. But what you do is you'd then click the play button and you can actually play it in browser. Now, as I said, I have no idea how well this will work on a tablet or a phone. I could pretty much only recommend this on desktop PC, and you need a modernish web browser. So what I'm showing you in, which is NetSurf on RISC Direct on the Raspberry Pi, probably isn't going to be fast enough. We know it doesn't work if you hit play, because it wants to load a JavaScript WebKit space, which you can't actually do on NetSurf. What we can do, if we're interested in something, we can hit download, and then if we bring up the games window, click, drag, drop. This is for RISC-OS, by the way. And then you'll see it comes here as data, so it's not a compatible file format. So if you middle click and then go down to set type, and it says data. So if we retype that as DFS image, press enter, the icon changes to floppy disk. So it's now recognizing it as a BBC Micro disk image. We can click, drag and drop onto model B, hit pause or break, shift break, And that doesn't like something online. What's on 20 it doesn't like? Okay, so that's might have a bug in it. Never mind. That's why I always test things before you come on live streams. Oh dear. Let's play something I know does work quite well, which is I do actually have Elite on here. I can never quite figure Elite out, I've got to be honest with you. 3D Pool, that's a safe bet. So again we go DFS image, drag drop, shift break. This is one of the very last commercial releases that you actually got for the BBC Micro. It's 1989, 1990. Came out on the Acorn Electron, and there was a Commodore 64 version as well. So this kind of really did begin to push the limits of the hardware. The font is virtually unreadable. So input type F3, demo mode, practice, space. So you do actually have a full 3D table. And then you line up your shot with the camera. It's a bit strange how this works. There's no sort of cue ball or prompt. So you line up where you're going. Hit enter. Also notice how it has to use dithering to distinguish between the ball types because it's only got 4 colours. You look at the screen, there's only 4 colours: green, red, white and black. So it's sort of dark red versus light red rather. Oh, I think we're light. Yeah, the computer just managed to get a dark red ball in. So computer's dark red, I'm going to be light red for this. And it's having a good old think. Okay, it's our turn now. It is. Oh, don't put it in the pocket. Yeah. Kind of like playing pool with teletext, isn't it, really? The definition gets extremely low if you go like further down the end of the table there. That's not to discount the fact it is impressive for what it is. Right. Hey, there we are. Got something in. Not useless. Okay. Yeah. Oh, blimey, am I snookered? It's Paul and I'm snookered. You've got to admire the 3D engine on this. It is impressive, especially with the limitations of the technology. So, am I going to get around that? I'm going to have to try and bounce it. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Go on. Ah, I don't think we hit anything. Free ball, didn't hit anything. Damn. to do my water when it has a think about what it's doing. Am I about to be beaten by the computer from the looks of it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure when you live stream things, you're meant to be the winner. You're meant to just win, be pro player, not lose everything really badly. Oh, damn. Okay, you have a think about that then. Oh, don't snooker me again. Really? Oh, no. Oh, this is brutal. Get an angle into the back of them, perhaps. Oh, what did I hit first? Oh no, it's valid. Ha, that'll make it interesting for the computer because he's now blocked. That's assuming the computer is a he. Or the virtual player you're playing against. Yeah. I got one in. Might be about to win this amazingly. It's looking promising. Didn't want to pop that one right into the pocket in case put the cue ball straight in. Go on then, computer, figure yourself out of that one. Oh no, don't want to put the black in. Last thing I want to do. Right. Blow me neck. Okay. No. Not quite. Hey, that's got in. Oh, a little bit more power and I could might be able to win this. Oh, I've completely missed. Trying to be too clever, completely missed. computer's going to probably play catch up. And I said catch up, not ketchup. Have you just lined that perfectly up for me? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Oh. That's annoying. That's annoying. That's a turn up for the books. Okay. Hey, that's it. Oh, I've won something, which is great. And we managed to play the whole game. So, yeah, that's Virtual Pool. It's not Virtual Pool, it's 3D Pool, sorry. And I'll just go and find that one for you again on the Games Arcade. On there, Boost Micro. So it's also one of those games that comes stock with the MMC flashcard devices. Just hit the wrong button, which is annoying. There we go. And we'll just copy that back in for the chat. So 3D Pool is there if you want to play that. And again, that works perfectly well in browser. So yeah, things relatively going all right at the minute. Let's try. Trying to think now. Try white light again. If I control break. That's fun. Right, well I think we'll quit the browser, we'll restart the browser. It's quicker to restart the browser. There we go. We'll drop white lights on. Okay. Let's try this again. This one you can find, if you want to play, you can play it in browser. If you have a modern web browser on a PC, Linux or Mac laptop, wooden devices on a phone, so I don't think it'll work that well. You do need a keyboard, but you can play them in web browser. The links again are in the description to this video / live stream. It's doing that thing again. Again, some emulators will handle this better than others. And we're having none of it, are we? Absolutely none of it tonight. That's a real shame, that. Oh well. So a quick check on the settings. I haven't done anything that's obvious, but does seem to be luck of the draw, really. It depends if it wants to load or not. Just get one more go, then we'll have to abandon that, I think. Oh, there we are. That's looking promising. Spoke to you soon. Okay, we'll abandon that. So yeah, some emulators will work with some stuff somewhere. What I really do need to do is get original hardware back on the system, really. So hopefully when I can sort my graphics card issue out, that'll be that resolved. So yeah, it's quite a lot on this site actually. It's worth a look just if you're curious. BBC Micro Games Archive. So it's www.bbcmicro.co.uk, and yeah, it's not bad little selection. So actually, this is a game from 2020. There's no one from 2020. So there's still people releasing new software for the Vintage platform. As if there's anything, there's White Light, which we were trying to play. How compatible these new games are with the emulators is anyone's guess. Is that a Porter Centipede? Let's have a look at that then. So click, drag, drop. Again, I'm running this on RISC-OS Direct on a Raspberry Pi. You can actually download the operating system if you want RISC-OS Direct. It's www.riscosdev.com/direct, and you can the link for that is in the description of this video, and you can actually download the IMG file. You need to flash to an SD card. We've already covered this on the main YouTube channel, so we have a series called RISC-OS Direct on Wi-Fi Sheep on YouTube, and you can follow the online instructions in video there of how to go about flashing, downloading and flashing an SD card and using RISC-OS Direct for the first time, which if you've never used it before and have a Raspberry Pi, I do encourage you to have a look at. Okay. So this looks to be working a little bit better. Obviously old teletext mode 7. Okay, I think I've got that. Whoa. It plays nice. It actually plays quite nice, this. But get what happens if those actually get to the bottom. Oh, they start climbing again. Did they start climbing again? Ah. Oh, come off it. Just been eaten, never mind. It's not a bad little clone, this, actually. Yeah, it's not bad at all. You can actually see the palette swapping there, because it's only running in looks like mode 1 or equivalent. So It's so difficult when everyone's like at the bottom of the screen to try and figure out. And you think of something so simple. Damn it. Oh, I've got the majority of them. One more. Yes! There we go. Brilliant. Oh, close. Is that it? I think we're done. Yeah. So yeah, that's not a bad little game. And again, what I shall do is I'll just pop that on the live chat if anyone's interested wanting to play it. So that was a clone of Centipede from 2018, so only 2 years ago. So for those who are interested, I'll put that in the live chat as well, so you can play that if you want. I think what we'll do is, let's just cut back, show you the screen again. Right, I think what we'll do is we're going to finish up shortly, but I'll just show you Nanogangs, which if you follow me on the channel you'll know is my own BBC Micro 8-bit creation. It's been running for about 4 or 5 years now as a project. So I probably want to show you sort of roughly where we're at with that. I do have a version, where are we? I do have a version of part of the Wi-Fi Sheet 500 disk set, which is an older build. Things have moved on, but we'll run with this. Show you how things are. So shift break. So yeah, this was the disk image I released. Is when the channel hit 500 subscribers, which considering we're nearly at 2,000 now, was a while ago. So it was actually, this is quite an old build, but a very old build actually. Pretty much redesigned the whole front end of this game now, but yeah, we'll show you this. So you go new game. Pick an empty slot. Name. We need a name. Bob. Had to be Bob and Nanogang, I'm afraid. So shell color. We could say 4 for the shell color. So basically, you get to name and build an actual character. This is all written in BBC Basic, by the way. So what you're seeing is actually all written in Basic. So we'll say 3 for face color. So is that okay? We'll say yes. That's grand. I have actually, since this version, see it running quite slowly. I have optimized this quite considerably since. So it runs a lot faster now, even on the original hardware. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I reckon this emulator runs a little bit slow. This is a snag when you're developing something in BBC Basic. It sort of it is slow, but you can optimize the code to work a lot better, which is what I've been doing. So this is quite an old build. This I did show the newer build in the recent video we talked about at the beginning of the stream. The one I did for the Retro Fair 2020. Fortunately, it's only showing in black and white. So what I really need to do is another video of showing that in colour and at better definition. Yeah, and that was as far as this demonstration went. And my goodness, is that slow. But bearing in mind, as I said, the BC Micro does not have a sprite engine, so you've got no hardware or software sprite engine. That's written entirely in BBC Basic, which is slow anyway. So a lot of people said it couldn't be done, and I think I've pretty much proven them wrong. Although it's taken years of on or off development, and that's as far as we've got so far. So I do need to get a release out. If you're a Patreon, by the way, and you join us on Patreon, that's www.patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. You do have access to the newer builds as I update the builds for the $3 Patreons who basically support the channel. Also, to find out more about what's going on, I would say Twitter, which should be there, but it isn't a Twitter board there, but you can. Oh dear. You can follow me at Wi-Fi Sheep on Twitter. And on YouTube, of course, where you're watching this, it's youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. And if you haven't done already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, I think we'll leave this live stream there. I hope to be back in a day or two, and we'll do something hopefully a little bit more organised than this, but it's been worth it and it's been fun. So I do hope you'll join me and we can have a good old chat about everything that's going on and projects here on Wi-Fi Sheep. Okay, as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon right here on the channel. Until then, thanks so much for your company. Bye for now.